Hello, I'd like to talk about good puzzle design. Puzzles are sort of an important part of video games for whatever reason, but I think it's video games have elements of problem solving. You know, they want to keep your brain going and involved. And Neverending Nightmares, one of the things that I wanted to avoid was, you know, straight out puzzles. I've been playing Fatal Frame 3, and it's like, hey, here's this thing, and you gotta slide the tiles around. And I mean, it's a just plain puzzle. It's not, you know, really integrated that well into the game world. And I think, you know, Resident Evil and Silent Hill had some things like that. I mean, those I think are kind of contrived, like, hey, we really need a puzzle here, let's come up with something puzzling. And so those aren't my favorite, but I think, you know, puzzles extend to a lot of aspects of the game, and in terms of figuring out what to do next. And so Neverending Nightmares, while we don't have any, you know, straight out puzzles, we do have situations where you have to figure out what to do next. It's not entirely obvious, and it takes some problem solving skills. But I think to some extent, this extends to every aspect of the game world. You know, in that you need to, excuse me, basically, I don't know what's wrong with me, figure out all sorts of different things about the game world, where to go, what to do. So let me just pick out some examples of things where, you know, I got stuck, and again, I'm a terrible gamer, and try and come up with some ideas about how those could be improved, or what the difficulty I had with the puzzles were. So, first one I want to talk about is in the beginning of Dread Out. You have to talk to a bunch of people. All the people look kind of the same, and I guess I missed talking to one of the people, or you had to talk to him twice. But basically, like, this person was a gatekeeper, and you had to talk to him, and then he moves the little gate. And so I got really confused, and then I started, like, backtracking. I wandered all around. I tried to get by the gate. I tried all sorts of different things, and I wasted, like, I don't know, 10 minutes or 5 minutes in the very first section of the game. So that was probably not good game design if you get stuck in the first 5 minutes of the game. So what could have been done better? I think possibly having a second trigger, like, hey, if you walk up to this gate, then the character will say, hey, you know, let me open that for you, or, you know, allow you to lift the gate, or you know, have the character say, like, hey, over here, and so then you talk to them. But or yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think to some extent, some of the puzzle solution problems I'm going to outline are, like, just that I don't realize I didn't, or I didn't exhaust all the options because I didn't think I needed to, or I forgot. So another one, again, light spoilers, the very beginning of the game, in Broken Age, you're playing as the female character, I forgot her name, and you're looking for a knife. And there's cupcakes, and you can give them to your uncle, or talk to your uncle, or something. And so one of the options is that you want to split the cupcake. And I guess the cognitive leap you're supposed to make is that, you know, maybe he has the knife, and if you split the cupcake, he'll bring out the knife. But, I mean, to me, split the cupcake, like, oh, we'll tear the cupcake in half here, or, you know, you take a bite, I take a bite, or something. Like, it didn't occur to me that that was a knife, and, you know, there was, like, a bunch of dialogue choices, you know, all throughout the scene, and I you know, thought I got them all. Totally missed that one, and so I got stuck, and I switched to the other character, Shay or whatever, and yeah, that was kind of embarrassing, but kind of seems like a puzzle that could be improved. Although in general, Broken Age versus, like, your standard adventure game was, you know, had easy puzzles that you could actually figure out. Unlike some of the more esoteric puzzles in adventure games of old. So I don't know what the best solution for that would be. I don't know. Maybe not give those few options. Like just give the option of split the cupcake with him, or maybe take away the other ones so it's clear which ones you've done yet. I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of little tricks, but maybe I'm the only one with that problem. So let me just take a quick peek at my notes. There's a few other things that I wanted to point out about Outlast and Whistleblower, and they're not really spoilers, but in one situation, there's like I got stuck on figuring out where to go, and so I saw something, and I'm like, okay, I think this is the solution, and then I jump up here, and then I was trying to jump on these like blue something or another, but I couldn't jump on the blue things because I was trying to get to something higher. And so I kept trying, and then I gave up. I'm like, I guess they don't want me to go up here. And so then I ran around and tried to find it. And then eventually I went to a walkthrough video, and that person was having trouble. But then he noticed that if you don't jump on the blue things, there's something you can jump up even higher. So you can jump higher and pull yourself up, rather than these blue objects which you just can't jump on. So I mean, like, I think the lesson here is if someone figures out the solution, figures out what they're supposed to do, you have to make it easy for them to do it, or they'll think that it's not the solution and give up, which is what I do in a lot of situations, and perhaps I gave up too early on this jumping area. But, I mean, like, the blue thing was sort of a misleading, and so I thought, I had to jump up here, and then I can't jump up here. But I mean, I was trying to get up to the same location. So definitely, if there is a puzzle, you have to make it easy for the player if they know the solution. So another one is Amnesia, Justine, the expansion. And there's a part where you have to build a giant pyramid out of physics objects. Well, maybe you don't. I don't know. I didn't quite understand what was going on with Amnesia, Justine, which I guess you were supposed to make moral choices, but it wasn't really apparent to me personally that there were moral choices going on, that, I had this control. But anyway, because I flicked the switch, which was supposed to kill the first character, and then I didn't realize that opened anything, and then I went and tried to build this pyramid to get up to the thing. Because it kills him really slowly, I guess. I don't know, or maybe I restarted because my pyramid was messed up. I don't know. I was trying to build the pyramid with the Steam controller too, which was really hard. But basically, the pyramid, you have to build it out of physics objects, and it was very difficult for me personally to build a tall enough pyramid out of these physics objects, and it was very frustrating. So the puzzle was pretty straightforward, finding all the things and arranging them in a certain way. But the actual execution of it was frustrating, and I had difficulty with. So that certainly wasn't my favorite puzzle. So another lesson I have written down is sort of don't change the state of the world without drawing attention to what the consequences are, which I guess could be applied to the same situation in Justine, is that I pulled the switch and there was a poker that slowly moved, but I didn't see that it was going to open the gate or something. I don't know. I don't really know how that worked. But another good example is in Outlast and a Whistleblower. And again, I don't think this is a big spoiler. But basically, you go in one area, and then there's basically like a fork in the road, and there's one gate you can't get by, and then there's a gate you can get by. And so I went to the gate you can get by, and then it ends in a dead end, and I'm like, huh, that's weird. And then I'm like walking around and backtracking a bit, but then there's a bunch of signs that say, prison this way. So I'm like, oh, these are little clues the game developers left us, because like if you play Last of Us, they do a really good job with exit signs and lighting to basically direct you through the game. So I'm like, okay, I definitely don't want to backtrack because there's all these signs that say go this way. And then eventually I, looked at the walkthrough video and the person had the same problem I did. But then it turned out if you backtrack far enough, the gate becomes open. I don't know, some enemy goes in or out of it, which is weird. I think Dead Out did a lot of things like that where basically the state of the world would change depending on what you did, but it wasn't clear the cause and effect, and they didn't draw your attention to it. Because I mean, sometimes they'll show you a camera of like, hey, here's where this thing is going on, but that doesn't work very well in a first-person shooter. So I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm not really sure what they were trying to do with that puzzle or whatever, but I don't think it was a very good idea to direct the player one way, have it a dead end, and then make you backtrack a certain amount to something that seemed like an impassable object. Which is, yeah, definitely can be frustrating and confusing, at least to me. So, let's review my notes here and see what the lessons we've learned. So basically, if you know the solution, you have to make it easy to execute, because if it isn't, then people get stuck and say, hey, I can't get past this. This must be the wrong solution. Because, I mean, that's the thing in video games, right? There's a million things you could do, but there's usually only one thing the designers are letting you do. And so it's very easy to sort of give up and say, oh, that's not what the designers are letting us do. You definitely want to make it easy to execute. Then I guess the other one is just, what I was saying is that if the puzzle or if some player action is changing the state of the world, you need the player to understand the consequences of that, because otherwise you won't know to backtrack, or you won't know that they're solving something in a certain way. So I think that's definitely a good lesson to learn. So I guess we only had 2 lessons and a bunch of examples. But anyway, I hope you find that interesting and or helpful when thinking about designing puzzles. So thanks for watching.